Hello and welcome to this video. My name's Kris, I'm an Australian GP and Happy New Year! Whilst this isn't the first video I'm putting out this year, it is the first one I'm filming this year, so Happy New Year! With it being the new year, this is the time that we see a lot of people start to really reevaluate their health and what they want for themselves in the new year. So in 2023, many people may now have a plan to eat better, exercise more, meditate more, basically having a look at where they would like to be by the end of the year and how to get there. Of course, with this whole new year, new me mindset, there can also be a massive increase in the almost predatory marketing and misinformation out there. I myself already 2 weeks into the year have seen a massive set of trends around the foods that you should and shouldn't eat. And today I wanted to break down one of them because honestly, when I first saw it, I had no idea about it. And whilst I pride myself on knowing a lot of things, obviously I don't know everything. And I thought my findings were really interesting. So today I'm going to be talking to you about activated nuts. Yep, activated nuts. How are they different to normal nuts? Is it actually better for you? What's the logic or the science behind it? If you're interested, please keep watching. So we all know nuts, right? You've got peanuts, hazelnuts, cashews, almonds, whole host of nuts. There are so many benefits to eating nuts and including them into a holistic diet. There's good cholesterol, good fats, high fiber, some carbohydrates, some protein. It really is a fantastic inclusion to a diet. So that's one thing. But then you read about, activating these nuts or buying much more expensive nuts that have been activated, and you think, well, there must be something better about them, right? So what is activation? Well, apparently, activation is the process in which that you soak a nut in a salty solution for a variable amount of time. There's really no consensus out there in what I could read. Some places say 12 hours, some say 24. And apparently this soaking activates the germination and sprouting process within the nut, thus activating it. It isn't limited to just the nuts I've listed, by the way. It can be any seed, legume, or grain. It is said that by germinating the nut before you ingest it, there is a process by which the seed starts to break down some of its proteins and carbohydrates, making it easier for you to absorb. Essentially, it breaks down what's known as the phytates, which, when they're not broken down, can be responsible for reducing how much you can absorb from it. So basically, the theory is that if you activate the nut, you will get more from eating the nut because it's easier for your body to absorb what's within it. It doesn't have to work as hard. So that sounds really interesting, right? It sounds really good, and you think, oh, I want more bang for my buck. I don't want my body to work so hard. I want to be able to have really bioavailable nutrients at my disposal. But sadly, the science doesn't really support this in its breakdown. And as I said at the beginning, there seems to be no common consensus as to how long to soak the nut, in what kind of solution to soak the nut, if it varies between nuts. So if there's no guideline or consensus, how do you know that the activated nuts you're buying from one store are just as good as activated nuts from another store? Like, do they test the nuts before they go out? I can only assume the answer is no. So yeah, it doesn't sit right. And again, the literature actually supports that it doesn't help that much at all. So there was one study in the Journal of Food and Chemistry in July 2020, which concluded, after assessing so many things, different soaking regimes on the level of phytates, the mineral composition within several different nuts, including almonds, peanuts, hazelnuts, and walnuts. Essentially, after all of their studies, they concluded that there was no benefit, no increased bioavailability. You weren't getting any more nutrients, micronutrients, anything like that from it. And a similar study performed in the European Journal of Nutrition in December 2018 concluded much the same thing. So the long story short is, it is fantastic if you are looking at trying to vary your diet and include things that may, have fantastic nutrients. I mean, I mentioned some things before, but nuts also have sources of vitamin E, folate, magnesium, zinc, selenium. Yes, I'm reading off a list because I couldn't remember all of that. But, so it's fantastic. Include them, absolutely. But save your money and save your time, especially if you were planning to activate the nuts at home. You don't have to buy activated nuts. It makes no difference. Just plain old nuts. Obviously, it is ideal to have them non-salted because high amounts of sodium are actually not good for you in so many different ways, but that's by the by. Long story short, nuts are good. Activating, which apparently increases the germination and the sprouting process within the nut, does not sadly make it more bioavailable or more nutrients for you to absorb. So that's it, guys. That was a nice easy one to begin the year. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any ideas about videos you'd like me to cover, please let me know. I do have a bit of a list and I'm trying to build up a bit of a stock. But until next time, do stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye.